Oh, Tashi Dele. Hello, everyone. I hope all of you are doing fine. And welcome back to Lojong session. So, as usual, before we start the actual teaching, take a little time to do some mantra recitation practice together, dedicating all the sentient beings happiness, and particularly dedicating to purify the individual and collective karma, um, which cause natural disaster around the world, diseases like COVID-19, then political conflicts. So there are so many people are suffering, so many animals are suffering. So dedicate to overcome that, and also dedicate specifically those of friends and family members or anyone that you have witnessed and they are in trouble. And also kindly dedicate to those people's name that submitted to me. There are quite a lot of names, so I will not read one by one. So those who are sick, going through business troubles, or relationship problems, or whatever adversity that they're going through, to be overcome and able to enjoy life with full of meaning of virtue and Dharma, and also dedicate to those who pass away, in particularly in the last 49 days. So yeah. So we do this practice on the basis of proper refuge in Guru Buddha Dhamma Sangha, and then setting altruistic intention. Zanje Jodan Zoje Jonan La Janju Bardo Dani Jazoje Daji Jinzoje Bezonamje Dola Benjere Sanje Drubara Jo Sanje Jodan Zoje Jonan La Janju Bardo Dani Jazoje Daji Jinzoje Bezonamje Dola Benje Zanje Drubara Jo Sanje Jodan Zoje Jonan La Janju Bardo Dani Jazoje Daji Jinzoje Bezonamje Dola Benje Zanje Dobarai Jo Gange Doze Ne Zone Dawa Damje Pambe Jere Dambe Jene Denze Be Godam Dela Anchaze Lo Donye Ninje Sondo Jube Lam Zeje Zenje Ganje Dende Chana Bemo Denze Nyazo La Sowa Debzo Daje Jinje Semje damje dewa dang dewe gyu dang dembra gyu je semje damje dunga dang dunga je gyu dang dawa gyu je semje damje dunga mebe dewa dang mi dawa gyu je semje damje nyere cha dang ni dang dawe dang nyo la nebra gyu ro je semje damje dewa dang dewe gyu dang dembra gyu je semje damje dunga dang dunga je gyu dang dawa gyu je semje damje dunga mebe dewa dang mi dawa gyu je semje damje nyere cha dang ni dang dawe dang nyo la nebra gyu ro je Semje damje dewa dan dewe gyodan dembra gyoje senje damje dunga dan dunga je gyodan dawra gyoje senje damje dunga mebe dewa dan mi dawa gyoje senje damje nire chata nye danda tanyo la nebra gyuro je gyenje madu kondo gang zozan je je ula je tuje jenje dola ze chere ze la cha ze lo Om mani padme hum, 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 Om mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum, 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 Om mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum, mani padme hum, mani padme hum, mani padme hum, om mani padme hum, om mani padme hum, om mani padme hum, om mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum, mani padme hum, mani padme hum, om mani padme hum, om mani padme hum, mani padme hum, om mani padme hum, om mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum. Om ahum bendran guru bema zede 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 hum. Mime zeve derje cereze teme gembe ombo jambe yang de bon mali jambe zavenda kanje gembe zoje zonga ba lozanda be jamla zovan. Mime zeve derje cereze teme gembe ombo jambe yang de bon mali jambe zavenda kanje gembe zoje zonga ba lozanda be jamla zovan. Mime zeve derje cereze teme gembe ombo jambe yang de bon mali jambe zavenda kanje gembe zoje zonga ba lozanda be jamla zovan. Mime zeve derje cereze teme gembe ombo jambe yang de bon mali jambe zavenda kanje gembe zoje zonga ba lozanda be jamla zovan. Mime zeve derje cereze teme gembe ombo jambe yang de bon mali jambe zavenda kanje gembe zoje zonga ba lozanda be jamla zovan de. Mime zeve derje cereze teme gembe ombo jambe yang de bon mali jambe zavenda kanje gembe zoje zonga lozanda be jamla zovan de. Mime zeve derje cereze teme gembe ombo jambe yang de bon mali jambe zavenda kanje gembe zoje zonga ba lozanda be jamla zovan. Mime zeve derje cereze teme gembe ombo jambe yang de bon mali jambe zavenda kanje gembe zoje zonga ba lozanda be jamla zovan. Mime zeve derje cereze teme gembe ombo jambe yang de bon mali jambe zavenda kanje gembe zoje zonga ba lozanda be jamla zovan de. Mime zeve derje cereze teme gembe ombo jambe yang de bon mali jambe zavenda kanje gembe zoje zonga ba lozanda be jamla zovan de. Mime zeve derje cereze teme gembe ombo jambe yang de bon mali jambe zavenda kanje gembe zoje zonga ba lozanda be jamla zovan. Mime zeve derje cereze teme gembe ombo jambe yang de bon mali jambe zavenda kanje gembe zoje zonga lozanda be jamla zovan de. Om dare do re zo 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 Omo dare du re zo ha. Dayada om beganze beganze maha beganze beganze ranza samo gade zo ha. Dayada om beganze beganze maha beganze beganze ranza samo gade zo. Dayada om beganze beganze maha beganze beganze ranza samo gade zo ha. Dayada om beganze beganze maha beganze beganze ranza samo gade zo ha. Dayada omo beganze beganze maha beganze beganze ranza samo gade zo. Dayada omo beganze beganze maha beganze beganze ranza samo gade zo. Dayada omo beganze beganze maha beganze beganze ranza samo gade zo. Dayada omo beganze beganze maha beganze beganze ranza samo gade zo. Dayada omo beganze beganze ma beganze beganze ranza samo gade zo ha. Dayada omo beganze beganze ma beganze beganze ranza samo gade zo ha. Omo mare zemam 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 zo ha. Omo mare zema zo, omo mare zema zo. Da je jawa dam je da je ba ye la zambe de de nye ke me zu jong do ba la me jin je lo da ja jong we jin ze do do ju me jo yang za zo sem de sem me le ju ye ji ba gu ne nyu do jab do zo je wa de nyu do da wo ze je ma do ju ne do wa ji nyang ma ne ba de za la go ba la. Jambe bawa jidra jemba da kundo zambo tenyan de jinje de da kunji jizo da loje jawa de da damje rabdo ngo de zon jebe jawa damje de ngo gana chudo nga ba de da je jebe zawa de kunja sambo juje rabdo ngo warai je semje ne ba jinje ba nyu do ne le da juje do ya ne ma do ba da do jwa me ba Pama semje damje den da den je jenge do jemje da do do da janju zemba gana so jo ba de da kunje mo lam do joro je pe dan zo wa mi ge be je no bo ba semje semje re wa ko je be za ba she je do be da je yo. Okay, thank you very much. So so we are studying from the Lojong collections. At this stage, we are studying the texts, melodies of adamantine song, or the chanting meditation on mind training, attribute to mighty yogic. If you are using the same volume, then we are on page 172. At the last part of the page. So as I mentioned in last class that so this text very much can concise into 3 sections. As a practitioner, the motivation for the practice, which is altruistic motivation, as Mighty Yogi expressed from the first line of the first verse. Practicing the Dharma, practicing the Lojong for the benefit of numberless other sentient beings, happiness and enlightenment. Then as a main practice is the altruism, the essence of the Mahayanic Dharma, essence of the Lojong practice, or the essence practice of the altruism is the Tonglen practice, practice of taking and giving, as discussed on his diamond songs. Then after that, how precious that teaching is, how precious that diamond song is. It is the essence of the old Dharma, complete, most effective, where Maitreya Buddha himself endorse, how precious that that Dharma is. So now today, very much, you know, uh, mm, the following, after the this, certain, how to say, mm, mm, certain like historical or biographical historical fact. Then after that, the verses that recited by the Maitreya, or the practice by Maitreya, is very much the way how you dedicate your life, and dedicate your practice as a as a follower of Buddha, or as a practitioner of Mahayanic Dharma. In particularly, the figure of guru, the figure of mentor is important. Play as a root of the path, or the foundation of all the higher qualities. Is one of the essence practice in Buddha Dharma. And in particularly, when it comes to Mahayanic Dharma, it play even greater role. Then, if we practice Tantra, it makes even more significant practice of the Guru Yoga practices. So, as a practitioner of Guru Yoga, as a practitioner of the Mahayanic Dharma, then, uh, you know, how you dedicate your life and how you dedicate your practice, so that we can learn from the Maitri Yogi's, dedication. So when we read through that, it's very easy to understand. Um, this text does not require much of interpretation. So it's very much, we read the text, uh, finding how to relate to our journey of spiritual practice. Mm. you know mm, we try our best to serve the Buddha, serve Buddha Dharma. We try our best to serve our Guru, fulfill our Guru's wishes. Uh, and there are so many different ways to do that. Uh, but what we are going to learn from this text, you can sum up. This is the essence way. This is the most marvelous way. This is the best way. How you serve your Guru, how you dedicate your life to your fulfilling Guru's and Buddha's wishes. And integrating, expressing that in the training on the path, training on the path. Taking Buddha's teaching, taking Guru's teaching, uh, taking the fortune of having Guru, meeting Guru, receiving teachings from the Guru, mm, uh, taking into one's own journey towards enlightenment, as regarded as the best offering, as best offering to the Buddha, best offering to the Guru, and best service to the sentient being. So, yeah. So the point here is, you know, we try our best to, practice the way Maitri Yogic practice, and how his, disciples like Lama Atisha, and all the great Kadamba masters, earlier Kadamba masters, the present Kadamba masters, all follow these footsteps. So something like that. Okay, so it says in the text that after the Maitreya endorsed by very precious blessing of words, together with the clear appearance of Maitreya directly to Maitri Yogi. Then furthermore, as a Maitric yogic, train in his mind in this spiritual practice 3 times in the day and 3 times at night, with full mindfulness of time and contact. Uh, and free of forgetfulness, singing this diamond song to rejuvenate his elements, like a mother who love her only son. All the gods, yakshas, smell eaters, demigods, garudas, semi-humans, the great valley crawlers, flesh eaters, demons, ogres, and so on were brought under his influence and reverted him. Similarly, the king of the land, his ministers, his queens, the Brahmins, uh, priests, householders, young men and women, ordinary people, and so on, comes under his influence as well. They joyfully follow him. And anyone who saw this or heard of this become endowed with a loving nature. Mm. Horses, elephants, water buffaloes, monkeys, winged creatures, creatures, waterborne creatures, mountain creatures, predators, all beings of the six classes, including even small insects like the ants, remain unafraid of him, and peacefully they converge in the presence of the yogi. Then the yogi felt, I cultivate in my heart love, compassion, and awakening mind. I have recited the words as incantations and have sung the melodious diamond song. Because of this, blessed Maitreya, the embodiment of the great compassion, revealed bare his face to me and utter word of delight, which served the entire network of doubts. As a consequence, my practice of forbearances, joyous efforts, and so on become enhanced like the waxing moon by the force of this, like a mother gazing on her only son. All beings of the six classes become delighted in me. In grateful response, and with the thoughts of making offering to the Buddha Maitreya, Maitreya Yogi sang the following song. Mm. So very clear, isn't it? So here, one thing that the few points that we need to uh, take into uh, our day-to-day spiritual life as a guideline is the um, you know whatever practice that we do, especially Lojong practice, such as cultivation of altruism. Get reminded, get reflected, get onto meditation, three times a day, three times in the night, minimum. So this is the minimum number, at least three times in the day, three times in the night, you know. Then eventually train ourselves to be, even for one moment, never to be separated, in the heart of altruism. So the first baby start training is, start with the six times a day like that. And that also not just like a parroting, or not just do as like by force, or or just do with the laziness, or with the distractions, distractions, essential distractions, etc. So that will bring obstacle to the progress of spiritual practice. So therefore we learn how to practice, like the Maitreya Yogic practice with full mindfulness, also well disciplined of the time, sometimes just practice for 5 minutes, sometimes practice for many hours, when we are happy, and when we are not happy, just forget about it, and or just practice for a short moment. So as a beginner, we need disciplined, you know so usual time for sessions is like about 2 hours each sessions, when we do when we do sadhanas, when we do mantra recitations, when we do any form of practices, even though sadhana practice, reading recitation may be so little, but then one should conjoin with the meditation. One should do properly, the motivational aspect of the practice, dedication aspect of the practice, even though the main body practice guideline may be so short, but then it's like about 2 hours, try to discipline ourselves, then um, the context, um, especially as a beginner, is so important to make sure the three things, like how Shantideva, specifically emphasized in Buddhacharya, the three things, the initial, the importance of correct motivation as altruistic motivation. Then at the middle, the main body practice, making sure that you practice correctly, whether to recite the mantra or sadhana, whatever, every practice has its own correct way of practicing it. There's like, we don't practice anyhow, any way that you like, your interests, our samsaric mind, can be a great influence of delusions, great influence of distractions, and self ambitions, which infused by ignorance, so we can go wrong. You see, so an example, like if you want to recite, if you want to do a session of recitation of mantra, an example, it require correct pronunciation, complete recitation of the mantra, if you want to count correctly, you know then if you want to since it's daily yoga, mantra practices, then clear visualization, correct visualization, uh, even the Buddha's images, even though it can appear, it can emanate in all sort of forms, but there are historical figures, historical images, which images of the different Buddhas are arise or painted or actualized, from meditation, from samadhis, or by having direct visions of those Buddhas, And nowadays, sometimes we paint Buddha's image, we just paint, anyhow, just treat it as art, just like, just paint anyhow, any feature we like, any color we like. So in actual fact, that's not correct. Even though you view them as a Buddha, which is meaningful, but then uh, may create negative karma of defecting the holy images of the Buddha, uh, then create negative karma, or we may not able to receive the maximum benefit of illustrating enlightened qualities. You see, because even a one pose of the Buddha, even on the paper drawing, it has the power of impacting our mind, to enlightenment, like that. You see, so so the context of the practice, is so important. Um, most of the practice has a guideline, like sadhanas. So. Uh, um, how many times to be repeated, how many numbers to be recited, what kind of implements to be gathered, so different sadhana has a different implements to be gathered. All those are usually can find in the small letter in the sadhanas. Mhm. Or then also, even when we read sutras, there are, usually either at the end or either at the beginning, there's a suggested guidelines, how to practice, etc. So, so that's why here, the mindfulness of time and the context, or then free of forgetfulness, is very much, um, we have to do with the alertness, forgetful. It's a bit of dullness. Whatever practice we practice with dullness, sleepiness, then it's a cloudy images that we take picture in our mental continuum, then it's very dangerous to leave a wrong imprint, cloudy imprint in our mind, which are no good. You see. So when we practice, knowing that every single reflection, every single recitation uh, will leave an imprint, and that imprint we have to make sure that it carve correct imprint. Otherwise, um, in a crucial time we may use a wrong manuscript in our heart. Then even though we may claim that we have practiced so long, we know so much, but then end result will be all wrong. You see, so that's the important. So we have to practice with full mindfulness and alertness, like that. Mm. So whatever practices that we practice, to rejuvenate, our elements. You see, so rejuvenate. So here, like what Mighty Yogi did, singing this diamond song to rejuvenate his elements, like a mother who loved her only son. You know, you see. So you have to treasure the practice. You have to like the practice. You have to really like whenever you do sadhana, whenever you do any form of practice and meditation, you need to have that inspiration at the beginning. The inspiration at the beginning, like a mother who loved her only child. Your practice, your sadhana, your meditation is like a like a mother, like mother's attraction, mother's love, mother's inspiration to the only child. That kind of interest that you need to build in your heart. You see. So uh, um, sometimes we come to a point that whenever we think of sadhana, we feel, yeah, I haven't finished my sadhana. I'm so tired, but I still have to do. So those are you see. Yeah, sometimes I go through that period. I hope you are not. Uh, you see. And we do all business in the whole daytime, from early morning to night. Then we put our practice as the last, at last. And sometime that the worldly life is so busy, too busy. Make ourselves so busy until when we do our sadhana, we are unable to finish our daily commitment even before midnight. And sometimes we have to do our practice after midnight. So within that 24-hour frames is actually already over. You see. So so therefore, uh, the best is, we should do all our practices, like daily sadhana, daily commitment practice, the best before we start our day. Before we go out, before we engage with people. First thing in the morning, do the sadhana, complete the sadhana. So should practice like that. You know. So the moment you wake up, first thing you think of that you need to do your sadhana. You're going to do your practice. You feel like so excited, like so inspired, that how fortunate. The moment you wake up, first thing is you think of your sadhana, your practices. Like that. So that way, then you know entire your element, mental element, the physical aggregates, everything will be rejuvenated. It means will be blessed. Blessed. Your mind will be blessed. Your mind will actualize balanced mind. You know, like Dharma infused mind, so that when you share your time, your day, your life with others, it could be in among the family, it could be in the working place, it could be just in the shopping mall, or it could be even just in the nature, or you will able to bless others, or you will not react negatively whenever negative circumstances comes in one's way, because you have rejuvenated your system through your daily practice, through your daily practice. You see. So that should be the way, like that. Oh. you wear the armor of a practice so that nothing can harm you, human, non-human, spirits, etc. Nothing can harm you. Yeah, you see. Then uh, because of you are consecrated by your practice from the early morning, when even the enemy see you, even enemy get angry towards you, but because of you have shielded with the with the blessing of the practice, they receive blessings, and you don't receive the harm or committing the karma in relation to that enemy criticizing you. So if we don't shield that, then we are so vulnerable. While walking on the street, just people don't like you and scold you, you are the reason of someone committing negative karma. Then that interdependency, you also commit negative karma. You see, so so doing the practice in the early morning, especially like sadhanas, etc., it can be so beneficial. So like that, so we can learn from Maitri Yogi like this. So you see, so if you practice like that, then wherever you go, there's so many names of the spirits, harm givers are named here, like gods, yakshas, smell eaters, etc. I think in the past, uh, um, uh, um, the Pico roaming in the jungle, Willow Sharp Weapon, and many other sessions in the past, so many of these different names come up, and I did a brief explanation or introduction of all of them, so I don't have to go one by one. So in short, when we practice that way, even the harm givers will rejoice you. The harm givers will feel harmless from you. So when the harm givers feel harmless of you being around them, they won't harm you. You see, more, they receive blessing from you. So they support you. You see, even the harm givers, they change their mind. They rather assist you like that. You see. Then so everyone will be influenced. And not only that, even the people, like kings and queens and ordinary people, young or old, will be influenced by you, because you are nurtured, you are rejuvenated by the daily practice. You see, so therefore, your speech, your physical movements, everything will be so subdued. So then, when you are subdued, when you are humble, when you carry a lot of positive energy, anybody comes in your way, they likes you. You see, so that's what's talking about. Mm, 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 then whoever you relate to, everyone will be inspired, and they due to your being present around them, they will be endowed with love. They will be endowed with the loving nature. People also get subdued. Even the demons get subdued. Like that. So not only that, then here, like horses, elephants, etc., or including the like ants, including mosquitoes, so entire animal beings, waterborne animal beings, airborne animal beings, as everything, every beings will be pleased with you, and they don't feel afraid of you. They feel protected by you. So these beings will never uh, feel scared, so that they won't come and harm you. You see. So yeah, so then the animals will be very happy around you, and happy of being with you, like that. So they feel uh, peacefully, they cover in the presence of the yogic. So you we have to practice, here the yogic, mighty yogi, we have to practice like that. Mm. Mm. You see, so because of practicing that way, because of practicing so perfectly, uh, mm, so perfectly, then without any obstacle, your precious guru or the yidam or the Buddha, in this case for Maitri Yogic, for him the yidam is Maitreya, guru is Maitreya, Buddha is Maitreya, then reveal, bare his face, to mm, to Maitri Yogic, and not only that, endorse his practice. You see, uh, so not only Maitri Yogic, all the past great masters who have achieved high level of path or who achieve enlightenment, all the Kadamba masters, mm, they have achieved, the direct visions within their lifetime. They have received direct visions of their meditation and deity, mm, because of the purity of their practice. So these are uh, something that we should aspire for. Then we should create all the causes, starting from our daily practicing daily properly daily practices, to achieve this such benefits. Then, one will be, whatever practice that we do, all the time, without needed to go around and ask people, needed to open this your practice, like free of doubts, you know, all the practice, you know exactly, and you are progressing, steadily and flawlessly. You see. So these are so important because for us, how much we study, how much we practice, there's no confidence, sometimes we come to a position that feel like the practice is incomplete. Sometimes, something is missing, or certain preliminary is missing, certain actual practice is missing, certain dedication is missing, then we have doubt of, don't doubt in whether we are progressing on the path or not, whether we are receiving the blessing or not, especially as a beginner ordinary practitioner. The befall of the samsara is very you know um, what do you call, um, very present, then uh, even though practicing, but then before samsara, sufferings and problem, and sometimes we get doubt, you see. So so when you have uh, a good form, good a proper way of practicing, then all those such doubts will be always cleared by your meditational deity, by your guru, by your inner guru, or it can, the guru will come in all different sort of forms to clear the doubt, like what exactly happened to Maitri Yogic, so like that. Uh, then, as a consequences of all the earlier mentioned benefits, then, you know, your practices, of your forbearance, uh, and the joyous effort increase, which is most needed to the swift progress on the stages of the path. Without forbearances and the joyous effort, our practice cannot progress. You see, we need that, especially as a beginner. We need the blessing of, we need the immune of, immunity of forbearance and joyous effort. You see, so forbearance is like such as mm, um, mm, the forbearances of not retaliating against the harm givers, or obstacles, etc. Then the forbearances of willingly, enduring sufferings. Uh, then the forbearance of, discriminative awareness of the Dharma. You see, then forbearances to work for the benefit of numberless sentient beings' well-being. You see, so like that. Then joyous effort, like such as armor like effort, joyous effort in the virtuous conduct, uh, uh, and joyous effort, working for the welfare of sentient being. So when you have these elements in your practice, then your practice becomes so effective, to actualize progress and realizations. Yeah, so like that. Okay, so so then Maitri Yogi dedicate in this way, such these verses. So as I mentioned before, we have to learn that way. When we practice, we dedicate our life in that way. We dedicate our practice in this way. You see, so it says like this: those closely related to me since beginningless time, all sentient beings who have been my parents, I recall my pledge to lead them to supreme enlightenment. I make offering to Maitreya with this spiritual practice. What do you offer? Your spirit, what you offer? What is the best offering to your spiritual guru? Mhm. Such way is the best offering. Mhm. Mhm. Uh, Leading numberless sentient beings, whatever you do, lead, for the cause of leading numberless sentient beings onto to the state of full enlightenment. That's the best offering. You see, so at that point, not intentional in self-interest for even an instant, I contemplate in my heart others' welfare alone. Mm. So this is the principal cause of attaining full enlightenment. I make offering to Maitreya with this spiritual practice. So whatever practice we do, whatever virtues that we do, in whatever content that we do, making sure that free of self-cherishing interests, free of self-interest, meaning free of worldly concerns. Mm. And completely, dedicating in the cherishing of the well-being of numberless sentient beings from temporary happiness up to the ultimate happiness, enlightenment. So this will create the main basis of the cause, main principal cause for your attainment of enlightenment, and for your attainment of enlightenment, which is for the benefit of numberless sentient beings' attainment of enlightenment. So if we dedicate our life, our spiritual practice in this way, then this will become the best offering to your guru and the Buddha Ida. Then whatever experiences I may undergo, joyful, painful, or natural, I will eagerly embrace them as aid to enlightenment. Whatever merit I may accumulate over many years, I will prevent them from ripening as a disciple's cowardly path. I make offering to Maitreya with the spiritual practice. So there's a two aspect of teaching here. Whatever experience, whatever, good or bad, everything, every experiences take on the path to enlightenment. Take as a opportunity to develop your heart in loving kindness, compassion, and wisdom, um, targeting for the benefit of numberless sentient beings enlightenment. You see. So this one, every experiences taking part on the enlightenment. So again, in the past we have discussed so much of teaching about that. Taking suffering onto the path, taking happiness onto the path to enlightenment, so we can relate to those teachings. Then whatever merit I may accumulate, um, um, so all the merit that one have accumulated in the past, all the merit that you're going to accumulate in the future, even that one need to accumulate 3 countless eons merit in 3 countless eons times, uh, one will make sure that not to waste the opportunity as like the coward disciple, as like the coward pupil or the disciple, by ripening uh, by accumulating negative karma that which will ripen into suffering, or um, by creating a negative karma that which will bring into suffering. So whatever merit I may accumulate over many years, I will prevent them from ripening. I will prevent them ripening as the disciples' coward path. Mm, uh, so to accumulate the two kind of merit of method and merit of wisdom, even it takes 3 countless eons time, that one will not behave like the the coward being. One will be courageously, will never give up, cultivating the true path and accumulating the true merits and delivering the true benefit, uh, to benefit of enlightenment, one's own ultimate benefit of the Buddha's enlightenment, and ultimate benefit of numberless sentient beings' enlightenment, which is the Dharma. Your own full benefit of enlightenment, Dharmakaya, and others, full benefit of the enlightenment, the form bodies of the Buddha. One will do that, you see. So the coward disciple, is the one that not taking the opportunity to cultivate the practice, like many of us who have been covered the, up to today. So therefore, from beginningless lifetime until now, we have not achieved, no question about achieving the ultimate goal of the other sentient being, but we have not even achieved our own personal goal of enlightenment or our personal goal of liberation. You see, it's because we've been covered from beginningless lifetime. You see, uh, always covered in the sense that always get distracted by worldly concerns, always distracted by worldly distractions. You see, so that very clear. Even in this life, while we obtaining this precious human rebirth, majority of our time still get distracted by worldly concern. We don't fully utilize. We are not able to fully dedicate our body, speech, and mind in fulfilling the two aims, your own aim and sentient beings' aim, which is the full enlightenment, by accumulating the two major causes, uninterruptedly. Means cultivation of bodhicitta, emptiness, uninterruptedly. That is not happening, isn't it? That's not happening, isn't it? Rather, we are completely stuck into, experiencing the past karmic result in suffering. Then we only focus on the pain. We never kind of aware that taking pain onto the path to enlightenment. Or during the experience of joy, where there's no suffering of pain, we are completely overwhelmed with the sensual distractions. Again, we forget about practicing the Dharma. We forget about accumulating the two merits. You see, we are completely kind of like stuck into the mud of all these distractions in either situation. You see, so that way, majority of even this precious human rebirth is wasted. So here is talking about that. So I make offering to my teacher with this spiritual practice means making sure that you guard your body, speech, and mind from the distractions of worldly concerns, and staying in senseless activities, meaningless activities of worldly activities. Rather, day and night, all the time, in every situation, that thinking for the ultimate well-being of the numberless sentient being, and dedicating full time, into the accumulations of the two causes of the merit, and that is the best offering that we too, if we are able to do that, then we have the best offering that we can offer to our Guru, Buddha, and Yidam, like that. Then it says, whatever undesirable event may befall me on such occasion, may my armor of forbearance never be lost for even an instant. Even if someone I have uttered with kindness act against me with the ingratitude, I will nurture him with a smiling face. I make offering to Maitreya with this spiritual practice. So, yeah. So like taking like the adverses of thought transformation is just the adverses. So these are the essence of all these teachings. Langri Thamba composed, such a short, complete, and very straightforward, mm, mm, uh, you know, perfectly, purely, dharmically, artistically dealing with all situations, even with uh, 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 you see, like ingratitude peoples, etc. So living life with those guidelines. Then, if we're able to do that, then it's the best offering to our gurus. Then, even though the hateful on their part engage in negative act, may I never give in to negative thoughts for even an instant. Even when the entire universe rose up as a demon, ghost, or enemies, I never I never guarded the binding chains of self-centeredness. I make offering to Maitreya with this spiritual practice. You know, Again, the essence is like what we learn from Edward, was it adverses of thought transformation. So these are uh, really taking adversities, taking harm givers, sufferings, onto the path of enlightenment. Regarding all the harm givers as a spiritual guru, where you can able to, uh, you know, um, develop practice of six paramitas like that. So even when afflicted with the illness certain to kill me, I never entrust myself to non-virtuous endeavors. Uh, Even when my resources are meager because of my habituation to miserliness, I never seek hope in the wrong means of livelihood. I make offering to Maitreya with this spiritual practice. So along as an ordinary, carrying the ordinary aggregates, along the journey of spiritual practice, we go through this natural process of getting old, getting sick, getting poor, etc., etc. Uh, Situations, we may face all these sort of situations, especially when we start to practice dedicatedly, genuinely. Sometime, we come to all sort of different positions. Sometimes like a king, full of respect, full of resources. Then sometimes we become like a street dog. Everyone blame you, everyone discard you, everyone harm you. You know, uh, we go through that. Then um, also, that in the journey of our spiritual practice, as long as we carry the samsaric aggregates, there's a healthy body moment, healthy mind moment, and there's a moment of depressed moment. There's a moment of unhealthy physical body, physical health, etc. Including death comes in our way. So even when afflicted with the illness, certain to kill me, you see. So even we are afflicted with the life-threatening illnesses, never entrust myself on non-virtuous endeavors. So that time, then you don't surrender yourself in inwardly concern, or you don't surrender in anger. When we are sick, we get angry. Don't surrender ourselves by agitated with all these afflictions, all these sicknesses. Don't don't attach. Don't attach. Um, don't get distracted by attachment, grasping, like missing of those healthy time, healthy body, etc., etc. Making sure that um, how ill situation that we have to go through, uh, that make sure that we never surrender to any form of non-virtues, in any form of non-virtues, whatever circumstance it may be, never surrender. Mm, mm. So then, even then, due to the past karma of miserliness, even though this life one may be generous, etc., etc., but then we are full of all sort of karmas. So basically, whatever we gain, everything will come to exhaustion. You see, so including wealth. You know, um, that is the what called samsara. That is what we're going to experience in samsara. If not by losing wealth while you are alive, but then lose your life, that even you have so much wealth that you're unable to utilize them. You see, there's so many people pass away, uh, millions and millions of bank balance, but then just in the bank, at the time of their sickness, at the time of their dying, no use. Especially, suddenly death comes, they are unable to use their savings, their wealth. You see, so uh, so these are samsaric nature. How, whether you believe or not, whether you believe in karma or not, or life and rebirth or not, every human being go through these experiences. If not by the object, but at least by the subject, by going through the transition of death, then everything exhaust, wealth, you know friends, families, you see, everything get exhausted, you see. But then many also do experience in the pace of their life, in the time of their life, uh, their resources become gone, you know, you see. But all these are experience of samsara, all this experience of past karma. Oh, then as a practitioner, uh, that if one experience homeless, if one experience no bank balance, if one experience a time of no food, etc., then one should understand the karma, then not get distracted, not get upset, not feel sad, you know um, especially when we are diligently practicing, we may misunderstand that I diligently practicing, even though I practice diligently, but how come, by practicing I should get more resources, my life become healthier, I should live longer. If we don't know how the karma is works, we may expect that, when we practice, we think everything goes right. That's I realize, sometimes some students, uh, they complain, and say, "Oh, Geshela, I've been practicing for so long. I've been practicing charity. I've been being so kind. I've been helping everyone, but then I'm getting into trouble. I get, I sponsor, medicines for the sick people. I sponsor medicines for the sanghas. But I thought I will never get sick because I sponsor medicine to others, and now I get sick. You know, you say, how come Dharma not working? you know, sometimes say like that. Then sometimes say, um, you say, oh, I've been very generous person. I always help people. But then my business went down. It's not working. Say like that. So that shows you didn't understand dharma. That shows that you didn't understand what even a karma, how karma works. You see, that individuals understanding of life and rebirth, understanding of karmic law, cause and effect, understanding of samsara is not there. You may know a lot intellectually, but you never know in your heart of the dharma. That's why such complaint comes. But there may be so many others that you don't complain to anyone else, but you may complain in your heart, and you slowly stay away from dharma practice. You see, and people do that. You see, you know there are some practitioners that practice dharma for 40 over years, 40 or 40, maybe 30, 40 over years. They know all the high lamas, their richness, big business, even their prayer rooms is like filled with like golden Buddha statues, well vases, and unbelievable, you see. But then in the pace of life, when their business doesn't go always up, start, just bend a little bit, just go a little bit down. There are people who give up everything, who give up their altar, who give up their faith. They think that dharma is not working, you see. So these people never learned dharma, never understood dharma, you see. And even though they may be attending so many teaching, having so many scriptures, having so many lamas, having so many gurus, uh, all all are in a worldly concern. Their relation to guru, their relation to dharma, their relation to learning, all are worldly concern. And also their practices, of even generosity, making offerings, as everything in a worldly concern, you see. So, uh, really waste the opportunity of such a precious opportunity in life. You see, so they are like that. So you see, from this teaching, we have to make sure we never fall into the prey of worldly concern. We never fall in the prey of practicing Dharma superficially. You see, we really need to have a deep understanding of samsara, deep understanding of karma, deep understanding of interdependent arising. On the basis of that, then you listen to the Dharma teaching, you read the Dharma teaching, you relate to your guru, you relate to your practices of charity, etc., etc. Then everything become practice of selfless, practice of uh, uh, you know you know you know even whether you label emptiness or not, is everything ultimately infused by your deep uh, how to say wisdom of emptiness. So that way then only benefits like that. Mm. You see, so therefore, if we go through the pace of misfortune, especially material resources like house, foods, etc. If you, especially if you become true yogic, true practitioner, you are very much like homeless. Like you have no one station saying that I'm permanent there. This is my home. You just move around everywhere. Sometimes sometime you you are in the cave. Sometimes you are under tree. Sometimes you are in the bungalow. Sometimes you are in the flat, and sometimes you are in the mansion. And sometimes you're on the street. uh, I mean, not necessarily you have to be like yogic in the cave to experience that. But if you really start to practice genuinely from your heart, then you know you live a life like that, like very much like a wondrous life. Or the yogic's life. We call yogic's life. You may be staying in the city, but you have no kind of permanent grasping to any places. Or uh, I mean, you regard also friends, friends and family, everyone, attractive to you is all sentient being in the heart of altruism. But there's no particular grasping saying that this is my family. You see, so if that, then like you are kind of like grasp onto one specific kind of people, and that also become obstacle. You see, so. Mm. So the bodhisattvas, the true bodhisattva practitioner and true yogic practitioner, uh, uh, you see, like in the 37 practice of bodhisattva, the one of the obstacle can be your loved one, your family members, that the attachment to them, the attachment grasping to them. Then in 37 practice of bodhisattva, you have to renounce that. You have to renounce the wrong place. You have to renounce a wrong friend. And you have to also renounce your homeland. In the traditional practice with Sava, you have to renounce homeland. So uh, no, you can stay in your house. You can stay with your family, but you stay as like you are like temporary guest. We stay as a temporary guest in like that. So if we practice uh, in what's it, wherever you are, whatever you do, wherever you regard yourself like you are just temporary guest. Then it became when the circumstances come and it loses, there's no misfeeling, there's no grasping. You see, uh, so free from attachment, grasping to anything. You see, so it's like that. So therefore, uh, then if we go through uh, the deficiency of resources because of my habituation to miscellaneous of the past karma, then I never seek hope in the wrong means of livelihood. So the wrong means of livelihood, uh, you see, then people start to steal, start to um, uh, use misuse of dharma, misuse of power, etc., to steal people's things, etc., just because of to get food and because of you get home, so asking never to do that. Never should do that. So if we live a life like the wandering yogics way or the bodhisattva's way, then this is the best offering to your guru, your Buddha, deity, and the best offering to the sentient being. You see, like that. Okay, so even when surrounded by negative companion, I never forsake resolution of remedies. In brief, whatever I do, going, sitting, and so on, I never do without careful examination. I make offering to Maitreya with this spiritual practice. So here are the few points. Mm. So when we are surrounded by, or when we meet negative friends, negative friends, meaning, like Thomas Sambo's 37 practice of Bodhisattva emphasized very clearly, the negative friends are referring to the uh, who make you degenerate your pursuit of virtue, your cultivation of virtue. You see, no, then the negative friends meaning that who boost, who encourage you to commit, negativities, you know, who encourage samsara on you, Mm. Uh, then another very, very, very clear sign is after meeting certain people, then you start to lose interest in your practice. Your diligence in your practice start to diminishing, and that shows those people are it's very much like your negative friend. So there's a three, four kind of categories that are emphasized in the teaching. So like that. So as a Bodhisattva practice, we never discard any sentient being, even including harm givers. We should put in the center of our heart as object of compassion. But negative friends are to be avoided, meaning stay distant physically, and verbal conversations and physical distance are necessary, like negative places, negative friends, etc. This is what talking about. That has so based on the teaching here is a never forsake the resolution of remedy, means when we are among negative friends, when you are affected by negative friends, then never forget about applying the antidote. Applying the antidote means um, make sure that you actualize remedies that not to get influenced, as I mentioned before, not to get influenced by those negative people to degenerate your practice, degenerate your interest in the pursuing of virtue, etc. like that. Or reject, engaging in the negative doings. So in brief, whatever I do, so in short, it's a doshanyado, going, movements and sittings and all the activities, sleeping, everything, um, should conduct with mindfulness, careful examinations, meaning, meaning, you know, meaning understanding the preciousness of precious human rebirth, understanding of the time of the precious human rebirth, understanding how fragile the life is, understanding the certainty of death, uncertainty time of the death, then on the basis of that, every single movement of your body, speech, and mind, uh, including going, sitting, and sleeping, and so on, everything conduct with a careful examination, meaning making sure that it become virtuous activities, virtuous activities, So uh, making sure all become beneficial to the cause of enlightenment, to the cause of the benefit of sentient being. This is talking about that. So that understanding is, uh, an example, even take a walk, make sure that you have altruistic intention, you see. So not just empty mind, just walk around, just for the sake of walking, just walk around. Is there may be some physical health benefit, but virtues wise, there's no virtue, you see. But then you set altruistic motivation that I take a walk, I took a jogging for the benefit of numberless sentient enlightenment. Wow, unbelievable virtue, isn't it? Oh, then sit, just sit, it's no virtue, you know and wasting time. Anyway, you need to sit. Why not you sit with altruistic motivation, and I'm going to sit for the benefit of numberless sentient beings' well-being, or I sit with the mindfulness, making sure there's no ends that I'm sitting onto, or I sit with the mindfulness of compassion that there's numberless bacteria and germs and sentient beings, out under my buttock, may all those be blessed with the altruistic blessings, of my altruistic attitude, like etc. etc. You see. So even go to sleep, making not just go to sleep. If you sleep, just go to bed. 6-7 hours. Yes, your body get rested, but 6-7 hours you're wasted. You see. So if you sleep with altruistic intention, entire sleeping time become cause of numberless sentient beings enlightenment. So it's talking about that. Careful examination. It sounds like very tiring, isn't it? Like I need to think all the time. No, we the real tiredness is sometimes we stay blank. It's very tiring. Sometimes with with the negative thoughts comes in our way. Most of the time there's a thought comes in our way. It's very tiring. It's very tiring. Tiring with meaningless. But then whenever we cultivate altruistic motivation, it's not tiring. Actually, it's very very energizing. Very motivating. Feel meaning in it. You feel happy. Is it? Yeah. Is it when you go to bed, think of bodhicitta, think of emptiness. You know, if you put a like kind of like a monitoring camera, put the whole night camera beside your bed, yourself not, you see the camera there, then let the camera to monitor how expressions that you go through. So you start to motivate bodhicitta, or you start to meditate on emptiness. I think the camera will capture that you are actually going doze off with a smile, and doze off with such a really like kind of beautifully, very 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 positively, you know then without any thinking. I also put the camera there and examine. You go to sleep without any thinking. Surely would be kind of like not as nice as cultivation of bodhicitta time. Then some more, you put a camera when you try to go to bed with attachment, grasping, regrets, anger, worries, and fears, fears and worries of uncertainty of tomorrow. The camera may capture such a unpleasant look. Even though so with tiredness you doze off, but with such an unpleasant footage will capture. You see? So therefore, uh, um, carefully examining before every action, setting a correct motivation and doing mindfully the action. Then at the end, doing dedication, etc., will bring lot of positive energy, into your system, like that. Or if we live a life like that, if we do things like that, then this is Bodhisattva's conduct, and this is the best offering, that you are making offering to your Guru, Buddha, deity, and offering to sentient beings. Mm. So so this is how that you dedicate in the altruistic way. So then this coming verse is like very much you dedicate in emptiness, in dedication and emptiness. It says, though this is so, not even an atom has never existed that has been affirmed to be substantially real. This then is the principal cause of attaining enlightenment. I make offering to Maitreya with this spiritual practice. Mm, mm. Though, um, though this myself, the experiences, you know, uh, the aggregates, the phenomena, whatever it is, the actual reality is not even an atom. Uh, it exists. It exists substantially from its own side. You know, uh, uh, the me, uh, my identity, the I, then rest of the phenomena, all the experience of virtue, experience of suffering, experience of happiness, including samsara and nirvana, everything, um, the actual fact is do not exist substantially from its own side. You see, so whenever that you relate your understanding in all situations like that, this then this then is the principal cause for attaining enlightenment. This is the principal main cause or the direct cause to actualize dharmakaya. Enlightenment means dharmakaya, isn't it? The dharmakaya state of the omniscient is the enlightenment, you see. So the direct cause of the dharmakaya is the emptiness wisdom, you see. So how do you create that? Every thought that comes in your way, every things, experiences you relate to, everything you interpret in the understanding of they are not intrinsically, or they are not substantially existent from its own side, or they are not substantially existent out there. In everything lies in the nature of void of substantial existence, meaning everything lies in the nature of void of inherent existence, void of true existence, void of dualistic existence. So everything lies in the nature of interdependent existence. Everything lies in the nature of emptiness, you see. So you recite like that, you think like that, you interpret like that, you relate everything like that, you see. uh, so then this is the best practice. This will play the role of the direct cause of your enlightenment. At the same time, this is the best offering that you can offer to your guru, Buddha, deity, like that. Then the conclusion is, though this sublime offering of meditative practice to help train this yogi's mind, this yogi's mind. So Maitreya Yogi himself saying that, oh, uh, mm, soldiers of loving kindness, all soldiers of loving kindness, like Maitreya Yogi himself, and alike like Adisha and the rest of the others, of the past, present, future, whoever aspire in such altruistic practice, accept this offering, um, accept this offering and help transform my mind. Oh, sorry. To help train this yogi's mind is referring to Maitreya Yogi. All soldiers of loving kindness is referring to those other practitioners, including Maitreya himself, Maitreya Buddha, all the other Bodhisattvas, all the other yogis that who cultivate, high realization in the altruism, as expressed before. mm, Maitreya Yogi requesting to bless, accept all this as an offering and help and bless, my mind to be transformed. So here we relate to ourselves, you know, uh, mm, uh, to it's like all the lineage gurus like Adisha, Maitreya Yogi, Maitreya, and all the great Kadama masters, all the Mahayana Bodhisattva practitioners and Bodhisattvas. you know, uh, I offer my sincere practice. I try to practice this way, and I offer this as a sincere offering to you. And please bless my mind. So always, make aspirational prayer, like that. Even when we do any of the daily yoga sadhana, there's a section of expressing aspirational prayer. You see, so even when we do Lojong meditations, meditation on this altruism, meditation on emptiness, meditation bodhicitta. So then you make the practices offering, then make the aspiration to bless your mind, to train your mind like that. Okay, so now the conclusion: as this offering was met, like Mighty Yogi make, as this offering met, the five offering goddesses, appear in the space. The five offering goddesses, um, mm, uh, mm, um, and infinity of the diverse offerings, such as music, light, and other attractive offerings, were met. When Maitreya Yogi offer and express that, then naturally, the five offering goddesses appeared, with much joy, and uh, celebrated with such a massive offerings with the music, light, etc., etc. So at that moment, The sublime master who have trained their mind in Mayana recognize this spiritual practice as a source of great wonder. So at that time, then sublime masters, uh, you know, or the Mayanic mind training, masters, Arya Bodhisattvas, ordinary Bodhisattvas, you know, great yogis, recognize that this spiritual practice is a source of great wonder, source of the all the Bodhisattva practitioner, so um, endorsed as a valid teaching. Everyone recognize this is such a precious teaching. Mhm. Great benefit and great blessing. They observed that although many have engaged in the study of this spiritual practice, received the teaching and undertaken it is practice, it was a Marty Yogi who gave the instruction to Adesha. There are so many who engage in such practices, and become the preserver of such practices and such learnings. But in fact, the mighty yogi is the one of the highlight the main practice, and who passed this lineage to Atisha, you know you know yeah, who passed this lineage to Atisha. That's why even today we have the benefits. So he was the master. So Atisha was the master of 180 holy places, talking places like Nalanda, uh, 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 Brikamashila, Samapura, Odampura, you know, uh, um, mm, um, Jagatbala, etc. During the around 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, centuries, no, around 8, 9 centuries, in the ancient Bengal and Magadha, where the present Bihar is. There's such a great institutions, uh, mm, hundreds, then the sub institutions, you see. So Adisha is the master of all these great institutions, the great holy places. And Adisha, who is the crown jewel among the 52 learned pandits, during that time, like Bikamarishla and Nalanda. They are during the time of Adisha. Adisha was regarded as a crown jewel of a pandit. He's one of the crown jewel. Then uh, very much in the time like Shantideva, Shantarashida, Kamalashila, Haribhadra, you know, Shakyabhadra, Gunabhadra, etc., etc. And there are many other, then later great panditas, during the period of Adisha, that Adisha was regarded as a crown jewel, among, among 500s great scholars, famous scholars, but still Adisha regarded as crown jewels. Or the heroic being the venerated by 62 religious kings, like such as Pala king, Dharmapala, you call it Pala king, um, who's also around from the 8th century, who is in fact is the main benefactor, or the main benefactor, who built, become Shila. Um, uh, uh, so mm, mm, so Adisha is venerated by all these, even the kings and the preceptors of countless, upholder of ethical disciplines. There are many, Vinaya holders. Adisha regarded as abbot of those Vinaya vows. Then not only in India, Adisha is a Vinaya holder and the preceptor of in Tibet. And Adisha is also one of the founding of who start with the extensive transmission of the precept of the Bodhisattva precepts, the teacher of countless upholder of the scripture discourses, in Nalanda, Bikamarashla, in Tibet, up to today, even these great monastery institutions, it's very much, there's a great influence and great, influence by Adisha. The object of reverence by numberless upholders of higher knowledge, um, is no doubt about that. Like during that time in Nalanda is not just Buddhist institution, like Buddhist philosophy institution. There's the non learning of the five science, five different knowledges, and Adisha still, is a supreme among all of them. Uh, then a spiritual mentor to oceans of knowledge bearers. In brief, he is the unrevealed sublime being and the protector of all sentient beings. You see, he is the embodiment of the altruism. And he is the um, very much founder or the upholder of the Lamrim and the Lojong teaching, that which up to today for thousands of years, well practiced and preserved, and and all the great past Katama masters, like starting from Domdemba, etc. The earlier Katama master in Tibet and the Katama masters in India. Then up to today, even the new Kadamba masters like Lama Tsongkhapa, up to present our holy gurus, they are all uh, achieve the stages of the path and actualize enlightenment. So the very much Atisha is the lineage, root guru of this. Then this altruistic knowledge, altruistic practice, preserve up to today, and it will uh, it is a source of numberless sentient beings enlightenment. You see. So therefore, Atisha is like the protector of all sentient beings. This embodiment of great compassion undertook the practice of the teaching. Um, yeah. So this diamond song, the Adisha took um, mm, uh, very very hard practice. But very hard practice. Mm. So this is stated in the following line. Adisha expressed this way: He who discards his own interest and naturally accomplish the welfare of others, he is my spiritual teacher. He who, Maitri Yogi, um, his own interest is naturally interest and naturally accomplishes the welfare of others. He, Maitri, is my, the Adisha, you know, he is my spiritual teacher. Adisha saying that Maitri Yogi is my spiritual teacher. So this sublime being gave, this sublime being, referring to Adisha, gave this instruction both in India and Tibet as a hidden guide to those sublime ones who share deep interest in the practice. You see, so these teachings are, in fact, is very much share very secretly and only passed down to those who are really into it. These teachings are not passed down to those observers. These teachings are not beneficial for those observers, checking it out. You see, so even among us here, listen the teaching to as an observer, then the teaching won't benefit you. But you listen the teaching to really, with a deep respect, that I want to practice. I want to, you you want to take this guideline, this example as my own practice. You really want to train your mind. Then these teachings will be beneficial. So and nowadays, of course, there's a lineage of these teachings, transmitted even in public. But in the past, these are really like a golden dharma. Instructions are passed down with such a seriously, because in order not to dilute, in order not to contaminate. Contaminate and dilute, meaning contaminate with not proper ripened faith, not proper ripened conviction. you know just learn because of curiosity. Just listen the teaching because of curiosity. So to receive the benefit of such teaching just with the curiosity mind is not beneficial. And on top of the worst is to check on the transmitter, the teacher. It's the teacher should be investigate before receiving this kind of teachings. Is almost very much as intense like a receiving initiation, Deity Yoga initiation. Before receiving Deity Yoga initiation, you should check. Even it takes 12 over years, check the teacher, and then receive the. When you receive the initiation, then entire doubt should be already cleared, and you literally practice accordingly. So similar, like these teachings are so precious, so is is a diamond, Dharma. You see, it's a golden Dharma. Mm? Uh, so like that. So if we really want to receive benefit, we cannot take lightly. We really need to first of all, make intact with our faith, our conviction, and our sincerity, our wholeheartedness, and settledness into this practice. Then, really, we also can become one of the channeling that Adisha, like Maitreya to Maitreya Yogi to Adisha, uh, then who channel, who we can take that we are also one of the lineage that channel through us. So that means, we will too will progress very steadily on the stages of the blissful path. And without delaying much, we will actualize still enlightenment. Even in case, we remain in samsara for countless eons time, but our time in samsara also going to be so beneficial, so meaningful, like that. Guide to supplement one who share this deep interest in the practice. Then, as for it is lineage, Maitreya Yogi, who in turn transmitted it to Master Atisha. All like that. So this teaching is complete. Thank you very much. Yeah. So I also would like to take the opportunity to thank apprehended Australian National Office, Peter and Stephanie, that who, in fact, I forget to mention, wrote a very, very profound and sincere and encouraging letter to request to continue to teach, through this text, continue to teach the Lojong. So, so I forget to mention that beginning of this text. So I would like to say thank you, and I'm very happy to continue the teaching since, as I mentioned before, even though these teachings are just pop up because of the pandemic happened, but seems like the pandemic situation still, in many places, many part of the world, still struggling. Even in Australia, like at this stage, like Sydney, Victoria, is still going through lockdown and hard time. Then many part of the world, there's a lot of lockdowns are still happening. So, therefore, we will continue, we will continue the text. We will continue the teaching from this great collection, great collection that compiled by Shunu Gyalchok and Kunjo Gyalzen, the great collection of Lojong treatise. So we will do that. Then we will resume this teaching next week. Start with the new text. The new text is the title of the text is the stages of the heroic mind attribute to Silingba. So attribute to Silingba. The Silingba's stages of the heroic mind. So we will continue from that text from next class. If you want to read before the teaching, then it is on page 177 in the text. If you are using this similar type of volume, then page 177. Okay, thank you very much. So we do short dedication. Yeah. So those interests, please do, go through the text that we have complete, this diamond song, a few times, and try to translate into your own, daily guideline. Uh, as I mentioned at the beginning, what kind of motivation that we should carry, what is the main body practice of our Dharma. We may do all sort of practice, like keeping the vow, monastic vows as a Sangha, Buddha vow, tantric vows. Then some practices, some may focus their practice sutra, tantra, daily yoga, this and that. But then the essence, you combine into one essence practice of, like, such as like Tonglen, Tonglen practice, everything translate through that, or everything translate through bodhicitta and emptiness, um, uh, bodhicitta and emptiness as a main body practice. Then you dedicate your life, you dedicate your practice the way how mighty yogi, dedicate as an offering to the Buddha, as a service to the Buddha, as an offering to your guru, as a service to your guru. Such a beautiful, amazing. It's such a short text, so I hope that we will do that. So whatever merit, virtue we accumulated through this teaching, and all the merit and virtue accumulated individually in the past, present, and going to accumulate in the future, all the merit and virtue accumulated by past, present, future Buddhas, gurus, and all the holy beings, and all the sentient beings. May this collective merit be complete cause for numberless sentient beings to be free from any form of suffering and actualize temporary happiness up to the ultimate happiness, enlightenment. May this collective merit be complete cause. This pandemic around the world be overcome, or the cure be most effective. May this collective merit be complete cause. Those who pass away, in particular in last 49 days, and especially those who requested prayers from me, prayers from our gurus, and prayers from you. This merit be the cause for them to overcome the suffering of death, suffering in the middle state, suffering of rebirth, and actualize higher rebirth in the pure land. And there they actualize state of full enlightenment within that very lifetime. May this collective merit be a complete cause for anyone who are suffering right now through health issues, business problems, relationship problems, whatever problem that they may be. Especially those of who submitted the names for prayer support, prayer requests, and and also even people don't submit the name, but we know that they are suffering, they are in difficult time. So we dedicate this collective merit for them to overcome any form of those adversity in their life, then actualize good health, long life, and full of virtue, and fulfill the ultimate aim of full enlightenment. May this collective merit be a complete cause for all the world leaders, the leaders of organizations, the leaders of the family, and yourself who lead your life. Be free from any form of negativities, negative emotions like anger, attachment, jealousy, pride, etc. Actualize, the wisdom of selfless, and wisdom of emptiness, and attitude of loving kindness, compassion, so that anyone under their leadership can able to enjoy, full of virtues and meaning of life. May this collective merit be a complete cause. All the good people in this world, like His Holiness Dalai Lama, all your spiritual gurus, yourself, your family members, always enjoy good health, the long life, and fulfill all your aspirations after full enlightenment accordingly. May this collective merit be a complete cause. All the virtuous institutions like nunneries, monasteries, and Dharma centers, and be including your Dharma basis. It could be just your at home, your prayer room, free from inner outer secret obstacles, and actualize all the conducive conditions to preserve the Dharma through extensive learning, and actualizing all the stages of the path in all the way up to full enlightenment accordingly. May this collective merit be a complete cause. may be able to practice just like the how Lama Adisha and Mighty Yogi have practiced and dedicate their life in the most beneficial way. Mm. Uh, may we too, blessed by our karmic affiliated deities, gurus and Buddhas, like how Mighty Yogi is blessed by his spiritual guru and Buddha, Maitreya. Mm. The dedicated ourselves, the merit and the purpose that we dedicate all lies in the nature of emptiness. So therefore, in emptiness, and definitely all our prayers, aspirations will be actualized accordingly. Yeah. So then, please do specific dedications if you have. If you wish to dedicate to specific your family members, yourself, please do so while reciting these dedication prayers. Jawa de Nyudo da Lama Sanje Dubune Doachi Jamale de Sala Gobrajo, Chanjo Semjo Rimboche Maje Palam Jeju Jawani Bame by Kone Gondo Parish, Tony Tawa Rimboche Maje Palam Jeju Jawani Bame by Kone Gondo Peva Jeremie Tawa Rimboche Maje Panam Jeju Jawani Bame by Kone Gondo Peva Jo Kanera Kove Shingam dependent de Malijo and Cheres and what is in just. Shabese de Bado Danger Tozo Change Jangan Jave, the Jobe, Ponzo Dobo, Chozo Govele, Metudo, Dazo de Jagon. Shabde Joy Chisolame Kozer of the Jananga Chile, Yamada Santembe, Mesazo de Vemusado. Jejuro, Javagundo, Yandalamada, Tameja, Jepala, Lonjo, Sadalam, Yunderamzoni. Doje Janje Gomba, Nyodo, Jo, Ebama Simjatam Jetan, the using it, Rotam Jeta, Doton, the Janju Semba, Kana Sojo, but the Kunjing Molam Juro. Semjene Bajini Banyo Donel and Danjo Joven and Malubada Dojo and Pebara. Jomde de Javara Jumaya Bazan Namanazo, Javala Jado, Joseph Samala Jado, Diadom with the all with the name of the damages of Diadom with the all with the name of the damages of Diadom with the all with the name of the damages. Diadom with the all with the name of the damages of Diadom with the all with the name of the damages of Diadom with the all with the name of the damages. Diadom with the all with the name of the damages of Jumla Dijava Jumaya Bazo Sanje, Mijala Bito, Javala Chazam. Some the danger of Rajamanda was of Zanya, what the Molatanjura to do. Jabola Jaze, Lo Major Javajala, then the Loa Mebe, the Dajan Hassan of it, Namda Mebe, Nego and drove you. Bedanzo Amiga Beja, no Balanya Simjera, going to be some batches, the Betashi, Tambaji, the Malajumba, the Manuation to Zawa. Then the Bologino, the Maya Dambayure, never Dajini Mondelets and the Nimango and the Legend. Kunjo Zumje Daji. Thank you very much. Please take good care. Take good care of yourself. Take good care of each other. Thank you. See you. Bye bye.